Hey, Kevin here from DIYDork.com. Today I want to show you how you can change the look of your fridge by wrapping it in vinyl. So check this out. This is a really cool project. Alright, so today I want to show you how I'm going to wrap this fridge and recolor it to make it look kind of more retro and a little more interesting. Alright, so when we bought our barn house, it had an old fridge in here and we just used it till it pooped out because we didn't want to spend money on it. And ended up dying on us last year, and it wasn't staying cold, freezer wasn't staying frozen. So we ended up picking this one up at Lowe's. Alright, now someone had bought a brand new fridge and had it shipped to the store, and when it showed up they decided they didn't want to buy it, so Lowe's put it on clearance. So I think it was supposed to be like, I don't know, $1,400 or something like that, and we got it for $800. So we decided to go ahead and buy it. It's pretty cool. Now the reason we picked it up was because of the shape and the style of it. It reminded us of a Big Chill fridge. Now when we were looking at fridges, we found a couple of brands that we really liked that had a really cool retro look. There was Smeg, which makes all kinds of really cool colors, and they're kind of rounded, you know, like a vintage fridge. And then the Big Chills are really cool because they're modern, full-size fridges, but they look old, so they look like, you know, from the 1950s or 60s or whatever. And you could get them two-toned or all solid color and all that. Well, we really like the two-tone, so that's what we're going to do to this fridge. And what was really cool about this one, it had a smooth front that's just rounded over, and it has a real slight arch to it. And it doesn't have any handles either. It's just a, you know, you grab here or you grab under here to pull it, and we thought that was kind of cool. So this would be a really nice smooth candidate to do a wrap on. All right, now you could wrap just about any fridge really, but I just want to show you this one because it kind of reminded us of the Big Chill, and that's kind of what we're styling this after. So how about I show you how I do this? It should turn out pretty awesome. Okay, so the first thing I did is I just pulled the fridge away from the wall, away from the cabinets, so that I could get to all three sides and get it cleaned so that the vinyl will stick really well. Now also, if your fridge does have handles, now's the time to take them off so that you can actually put the vinyl around it, and then also you can kind of clean around where they mounted because there's a good chance that it probably still has a little gunk build up. Alright, so to clean mine, I'm just using a little homemade mixture here of 50% water, 50% white vinegar. It's super cheap, it works well, but you could use whatever cleaner you want. I mean, it is a fridge, it's going to have fingerprints all over it, it's probably going to have smear marks from old cleaner, grease from cooking, it kind of, you know, floats through the air and then sticks to the fridge. You want all that gone so that your vinyl has the best chance of sticking for a long time. Alright, so just sprays on like normal and wipe it off, just make sure that you get all of it, okay, and maybe even let it dry after you've done it. Now another thing you want to be careful about is to get into all the little nooks and crannies, like right here, I have a although our fridge doesn't have a handle, it does have a little divot in here, and it's a little plastic piece. And where it meets the front of the fridge, there's a little seam. So I'll make sure to get in there, that there's no, you know, gunk in there. And then also a really important spot is like where the door wraps around to the back and even like under the bottom, and then where the side wraps around here. Because that's where the vinyl is going to end. You know, you're going to actually wrap it around there so it looks nice and clean. And if you don't get the grease out of there, it's going to peel real quick and it's going to start pulling off. So get that really well, and just make sure it's super clean, as clean as you can get it. Alright, so then once I get all this cleaned up, I will show you the vinyl I'm going to use. I picked it off eBay really cheap, and I'll show you the color and all that, and then I'll show you how I install it. Alright, so I've decided to wrap just the bottom door of the fridge and then the related height on both sides here. So let me show you measurements real quick, and that will help explain why I picked the piece of vinyl that I did. So the door itself is about 33 inches wide, but then I also have to wrap around here on the sides, and those are about 2.5 inches. So at an absolute bare minimum, I need about 38 inches of material to wrap the door. Okay, now the sides here, they are showing about 28.25 or something like that, but I do want to wrap around the front here and then a little bit around the back. So at a bare minimum, I need about 30 inches there as well. So this is a little less than 3 feet, and the door is a little bigger than 3 feet, and then the other side's a little less than 3 feet. So I figured I could get away with about 9 feet of material. Okay, now height-wise, when I hook it here at the bottom of the door and I come up, you can see it's just a little shorter than 45 inches. So I did a little shopping around online. I looked at sign company websites, I looked on eBay, and I found the best deal on eBay. Now I was originally thinking of buying, you know, a piece for each side, but it ended up being cheaper to buy one solid sheet. So let me show you what I got. Alright, so here's what I found from the eBay seller, Easy Auto Wrap. And I'm pretty sure they're selling these so that people can wrap their car hoods and things like that, because it's kind of popular right now. Instead of paint jobs, they just wrap them with vinyl and then they can peel them off when they're done. But anyway, they had a great deal. I really like this light blue, this gloss light blue because it has a real retro look. I think it'll look good with the white. And I ended up getting a piece that's 60 by 108, so that's 5 feet by 9 feet. Okay, so my thinking is that the 5 foot will go this way, all right, and I'll have plenty extra that'll get cut off, and then my 9 foot will work that way. And like I said, it was actually cheaper to buy the solid piece than 3 separate ones, because my 2 sides I could have gone with a pretty small size, but then to wrap that door, since it's like 38 inches, I had to get a pretty large piece for that. So it was a lot cheaper just to buy this. I think total it was just under 40 bucks, which costs more than if you're gonna like spray paint a fridge, but this is removable, so you could do it, you know, anytime you want. And anyway, when it shipped to me, it come in this tube, and they also gave me this little squeegee right here. You can see their little, I think you can kind of see it's easyautorap.com. I guess you could check out their website if you want. But anyway, this little squeegee is pretty cool because it's nice and solid, and they wrapped it with felt. Now, whenever you use hard squeegees on vinyl, sometimes they can leave marks on there, like little Mars. So this felt on there makes it a lot softer and helps glide. Okay, now I actually used to work at a couple different sign shops, so I have some leftover materials. So I recommend when you buy your vinyl, they are going to send this little one, but I recommend picking up a bigger one. So this is a little bit bigger squeegee. It's still hard, still wrapped in the felt. You can see it's well used though, so it may not slide quite as nice. And then also you could even get just a solid felt one. And I really like these, but the harder squeegees will, you know, get bubbles out a little easier. Also, you're going to want a X-Acto knife with a really sharp blade. And then I also recommend getting a grease pencil. What's cool about this is that you can leave layout marks on the fridge to help line up the vinyl, and then when you're done, you just wipe it off with your cleaner and it comes off real easy. So now let me show you how I put it on the fridge and cut it up and all that. All right, and check it out. Here they are all cut down. I cut them just a little bit oversized so that they're easy to manage and I have plenty of room to hang over. So I cut them all to 46 inches tall because I only need about 44 and a half. So it's just a little bit of overhang that'll drop around the bottom and then I can cut it. And I kept the factory edge here. That's what's going to be on the top of the sides. And then down here, I cut it with scissors so it may not be straight. So that's why I put those little X's on there. So I remember when I go to install that, put that on the bottom, it'll get cut off. Okay, so the sides, I only need about 28 and a half inches, so I cut these at 31, so there's just a little bit of overhang, so both of those are 31, and this is just whatever is left over. I think it's like 45 or 46 inches. I only needed about 40, but I can manage that. So now what I'll do is I'll put it up on the fridge, and I'll show you how to start installing it. All right, so the first thing you want to do when you start installing is to take the measurement of the door and transfer it over to the side. So I did that, and I made a little tick mark right here, and I made one at the end, and I laid a ruler up there, and I took my grease pencil and I drew a line. Now that would be the guideline where I can put that factory straight edge right up against that, and then I'll work down. Now also, if you do screw up, no worries, just take a little soapy water and it wipes off real clean, so no big deal. All right, so now what you want to do is grab your vinyl, get that good factory edge, and line it right up to your grease pencil line. I have mine just barely under so I can make sure it's nice and straight. Then I just grabbed some masking tape and I just taped on each side just to hold it up nice and straight. And I made sure to have plenty of overhang, so I have about an inch, inch and a half on each side, so I have plenty to wrap around. So then I'm going to finish taping the rest of it here. And you want to make sure when you're taping it to keep it smooth. If there's any wrinkles, the piece is going to be ruined when you try to start installing it. And another thing you can do if you just want to be extra careful is take your tape and you can add an extra layer, you know, just above, just so it's a nice strong hold. And remember, you don't want any wrinkles because we're going to start at this front edge. So next what we're going to do is I'm going to roll it up a little bit, and then we're going to flip it up here and make a hinge so that we can get this top started.